Good morning from the live desk. I'm Leon Hendricks. We are coming on the air here at 11 o'clock this morning with an update on breaking news that we have been following out of Grand Haven, where authorities are investigating what they are calling an act of domestic terrorism. This has been developing since about 6 o'clock this morning when a man crashed his truck through the gate at the Coast Guard facility there in Grand Haven, a very popular tourist area, a place where a lot of folks walk by. If you've been to Grand Haven, you probably know this is right off the main drag there where that Coast Guard facility is, a place that is normally very secure, and a truck crashed through there and made some very serious threats. This situation continues to develop with the bomb squad on scene. We want to get out live now to our reporter who is covering this. Coco McAvoy is there for us now. Coco, bring us up to speed on what you're seeing now.
Now, Leon, this situation has been rapidly developing over the past few hours, and as you mentioned, officers are treating this as an act of domestic terrorism. So what that means is Harbor Drive and the boardwalk, that area is closed to residents. They want to make sure that people stay out of that area, and specifically people in Sandpiper condos. They want to make sure that you stay in place this morning. And as I step out of the frame, you can see that there's a sheriff's deputy, also an EMS truck out here blocking people from getting past them this morning. Again, they're just trying to make sure that this area is safe. I'm going to give you a quick wrap up this morning. A man crashed his truck into the Coast Guard station gate. We've actually got pictures of that truck, if we can cue that up right now. He then broke into the station and assaulted Coast Guard personnel. The suspect was subdued by Coast Guard personnel and then arrested by Grand Haven public safety officers. The suspect did make a threat of an explosive device in the truck. So right now we know MSP bomb techs, they're searching that vehicle. And almost an hour ago, we heard from the Director of Public Safety with an update.
The initial call came in at 6:07 a.m. Our officers responded to an attack at Coast Guard Station Grand Haven. The investigation revealed that an individual drove his truck through the gate at Coast Guard Station Grand Haven, then broke into the facility and assaulted Coast Guard personnel. The individual, the suspect, was subdued by Coast Guard personnel at Coast Guard Station Grand Haven and arrested by our public safety officers. He was then transported back to the Grand Haven Department of Public Safety. The Coast Guard station was evacuated as the individual did make a threat of an explosive device in his truck. Given the nature of the incident, the station was evacuated, the sector field office was evacuated, and all personnel responded to the Grand Haven Department of Public Safety. Since that time, Coast Guard personnel have been returned to the sector field office, which is under a lockdown, and we have various agencies assisting us at Coast Guard Station Grand Haven. But if this is Harbor Drive out here in Grand Haven, this is the Coast Guard Station gate right here. This is where the individual came through with his truck. He crashed through the gate, entered the Coast Guard Station property, made a left turn. The Coast Guard Station is situated between Harbor Drive and the Grand River. This parking area back here, between the building and the river. The truck came to rest somewhere in this area, and that's where it remains right now. We have multiple agencies assisting us with the investigation, including the Michigan State Police. Their bomb techs are checking the vehicle right now as I speak. They have their bomb techs checking the vehicle, and also the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations from Grand Rapids, is on scene, as well as Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF. The suspect is not from Grand Haven. We're unclear on whether he is acting alone or not. The investigation is rapidly expanding into other areas of Michigan, and we're getting a lot of good help from MSP and the FBI. No indication of a motive at this time. That part of the investigation is still ongoing, and try to update you as soon as we know something. We're unclear on whether he's acting alone, he has acted alone, or if somebody else is involved. Obviously, we're erring on the side of caution, taking it very seriously, and we're treating it as an act of domestic terrorism. Grand Haven is extremely safe. This is an isolated, certainly extraordinary isolated incident. And we immediately closed the boardwalk to pedestrians as well as Harbor Drive, so all necessary security precautions were immediately put in place. Kudos to the Coast Guard personnel on station at Coast Guard Station Grand Haven for taking the suspect into custody, and to our officers that responded immediately down there.
You were just listening to the Director of Public Safety with an update. Again, as he was just saying, they are looking into whether or not the suspect acted alone. Right now, we do know that he is not a Grand Haven resident, but again, like he said, we do not know a motive at this time. Again, MSP bomb techs are searching his vehicle right now to make sure that the area is safe. And again, Harbor Drive and the boardwalk, that area is closed until further notice. So if you are in this area, make sure to avoid it. And if you are in Sandpiper condos, make sure to stay in place. Leon?
Okay, Coco, thank you for your reporting. Now, on this, at this location, this Coast Guard facility, we know this place is staffed around the clock with Coast Guard folks who are ready to respond to any type of emergency. Are we getting any indication as to how long it took between the time when that truck crashed through the gate and the time where they actually noticed him and he was able to get into that building and assault those officers? Was this a quick thing?
Well, that's something that we're still waiting to learn right now. At the news conference, we actually asked them how the guy ended up getting into that building because, you know, once he crashed into that gate, which if you aren't familiar with this area, that's a very big gate. We're still trying to learn how he ended up getting into the station and how quickly that all ended up developing. So that's something that we're still working to learn this morning. All
right. Any indication, anything else that we know about this suspect besides the fact that he's not from Grand Haven?
No, that's the only thing that they're releasing right now. We did ask him if they have any information on any criminal history, but they said that they have done an extensive background search on the suspect. They're just not releasing any of that information at this time.
Okay, and as far as folks living in this area, we know that the residents of the Sandpiper condos, they've been told to shelter in place, to not come out of their homes and remain there, at least for right now, as they really work to clear this area. Have you talked to some of the authorities that are working on this investigation, as well as the people who live in the community? I mean, this has got to be shaking them.
Oh, definitely. You know, the officers that we've been speaking to this morning, like they said, you know, Grand Haven is obviously a very safe area. This is just something that you don't expect. It's a Sunday morning. Lots of people are out on their way to church. So we've been seeing a lot of people actually be diverted from this area, told to turn around. But like you said, you know, a lot of people are shaken up. I mean, they're being told to stay in place while, you know, MSP bomb techs are searching a vehicle. So this is a very serious situation. And again, it is being treated as an act of domestic terrorism.
Obviously a serious situation, one that we are going to continue to follow. Coco, thank you for your reporting there live on the scene on Harbor right there in Grand Haven, a very important part of our West Michigan tourism economy, and one that is certainly shaken by what has happened this morning. Investigators are on the scene. We know that the FBI is there, the ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms federal investigators are investigating. So certainly the full power of West Michigan law enforcement will be working on this, and of course the full power of federal law enforcement, as this is a crime against the Grand Haven Coast Guard station there, which is of course run by the federal government. We're going to continue to follow this throughout the morning. As soon as an update's available, we'll break it right here on Wood TV 8. And of course, we are updating constantly, woodtv.com, with up-to-the-minute details about what's happening there in Grand Haven. But again, still an active situation. The residents of Sandpiper condos being told to stay in their homes as this situation is cleared. We'll keep you posted with more. Right now, we are at the live desk in the 24-hour News 8 newsroom. Leon Hendricks, back to regular programming.